Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over Eye of Skadi. I'm going to show you what it does, how to use it, and when to buy it. Now, Skadi costs 5,900 gold, and this isn't the most expensive item in the game, but it is fairly expensive, and when we look at how you actually build Skadi down here, it does take a lot of saving up to actually get this item. But then what does Skadi give us? Well, it gives us 35 all attributes, which is the most all attributes in the entire game. You know, other items will give you a lot of intelligence or agility or strength, but this gives you a lot of everything. So you get more HP, more mana, more regen, more armor, and then more damage no matter if you're a strength, agility, intelligence, or universal hero. So it's a great item just to get tankier, just to get more of everything in terms of a stat item. And so these stats are really one of the big reasons that you're buying Eye of Skadi. But then the other reason that you're buying Skadi, and probably the primary reason for buying Skadi, is for this passive cold attack. And no one really knows that it's called cold attack. Everyone just knows that Skadi does this passively because this is kind of the main thing that it does, which is when you hit an enemy, when you attack them, you lower their movement speed, their attack speed, and their health restoration. So that means any kind of health regen, any kind of lifesteal, anything like that, you reduce that, which is a lot. And it depends whether that enemy that you're attacking is melee or range. So this actually has more of an effect against ranged heroes, because you can see here, attacks lower enemy movement by 25% if melee, 50% if they're ranged. Attacks also lower enemy attack speed by 20% overall. And then there's also that 40% incoming heals, and that lasts for 3 seconds, the buff does overall. So this is a very, very good item for multiple things. The first main thing is obviously sticking on targets. With that slow, it just allows you to stick on that target so they can't run away. You know, let's say you have an ability, you have blink or something else, and you jump in. Well, when you have Skadi, now you can't get kited as much. Plus, if they try to turn and fight you, if you're man fighting another carry, now their attack speed is lowered, so that man fight is not going to be in their favor as much. And even on top of that, if they're a hero like Morphling, or they're a hero that likes to buy Satanic like a Luna, now they're not going to have that lifesteal to try to actually man fight you. Or if it's like a Bloodstone hero like a Lesh, when you attack them with Eye of Skadi, now they're not regenning as much. So it's kind of a multiple threat item where you can use it to both stick on targets, not get kited, and to be an anti-regen type of item as well. Now, to show you how this actually works, it's pretty straightforward. It's a passive item, so it's really not that complicated, but I did want to show you on a hero like Slark, who likes buying Skadi, that we have a hero at level 10 with 74 damage, not even 1,000 health, 471 mana, and all we can do is, you know, buy Skadi. Now it's in our inventory. That's a lot of health and mana, and even a good amount of damage just for buying this item. It is expensive, of course. You're not buying it till later on in the game, but this is a lot of stats, as we can see there. So I just wanted to show you the stats that it gives you are very, very significant. Then obviously I picked Huskar because this hero has built-in regen, so we can kind of show you that as well. I'll actually give this hero, the Slark here, a bunch of damage, so I can actually get this guy pretty low. So now we can see, look at the regen here while the Skadi buff is on, and look at the difference there. He's regenning a ton here. You know, 25, 24, obviously as he gets more health, he regens less, but we just hit him once, and now he's really not regenning much at all. And then we can also show you the movement slow as well. So let's hit him here without him dying. And then he's pretty slow. Like, look at that. That's a ranged hero. That is a very, very slow. Let's actually put an axe here and show you the difference between the axe and the Huskar in terms of movement speed, the melee, and the range. I know I don't necessarily have to show you this, but it is worth seeing. So I'll attack both. And then you can see that the axe is significantly faster because he is melee. So just keep that in mind. But that's Skadi. It's really just that straightforward, that simple. A ton of stats, a good slow, attack slow, and anti-regen. Then in terms of heroes that like to buy Skadi, it's mostly heroes that want to benefit from that right-click debuff. So that's really just right-click carries for the most part, or other cores that want to right-click. You're not really going to be buying it just for the all stats, even though all the heroes in the game would love those all stats. It's very expensive, and you're not really considering that. That's just sort of an extra thing that it gives you when you want that debuff for the most part. So the heroes that like to buy Skadi in general, it's mostly agility or universal heroes, some strength heroes, not too many intelligence heroes for the most part, mostly right clickers, mostly carries. And some examples of heroes that like to buy Skadi, we have Slark, Morphling, Medusa, Spectre, Meepo, really any hero that benefits from all the stats, you know, the agility for damage and armor, the health, the mana if you're spamming spells, all that kind of stuff. And these heroes that like to buy Skadi will really specifically buy it in those matchups where they're against a hero that likes to regen, something like a Huskar, something like a Morphling who loves to buy Skadi but also gets somewhat countered by the Skadi, something like a Lesh who's going to buy Bloodstone pretty much every game. Any of these heavy regen heroes where it's really built into their kit, Skadi is great against them. Or heroes like Luna who want to buy Satanic or buy it in a lot of games. If they go for Satanic and you really need to man fight them, going for Skadi can really make that Satanic not as effective because now they're not lifestealing nearly as much. So any hero that has innate regen components or likes to buy Satanic, Skadi's really good against those heroes if you're one of these heroes that likes to buy it for all the stats and all the benefits that it does give you. And then finally, I think it's good to highlight some heroes that could buy Skadi but don't really like to because they like to buy other items. Something like a Drow. This hero already has a slow component, an anti-regen component. You don't really need to double up on what you already do. You only have a limited amount of slots, so you want to buy items that amp up things that you don't do, make you do more damage, make you more survivable, stuff like that. Something like a Faceless Void. You just really want to blow people up in your chrono, and Skadi doesn't really help you do that. Skadi is more of like a sustain item for yourself when you're jumping in and out, or a sustain item when you're man fighting another hero over time and it takes a while to whittle them down. You don't want to get kited. So getting kited is not really a problem for Faceless Void. That regen stuff is not happening that much in the chrono. It's more about like just locking that person down, doing insane amounts of damage in that short amount of time. So you could buy it on Faceless Void maybe if you were going for like an anti-chrono build with Ags jumping in and out, but that's more rare and you don't really want to buy it on that hero too much. Something like an Ursa could totally buy it, but you have a limited number of slots. You're buying BKB, you're buying Blink, you're buying all these other items that facilitate what you already want to do. You're not really buying Skadi very often. You want to burst people down anyway. The regen isn't really coming out in that kind of duration of the regen happening. You want to be more survivable, all those things. So yeah, you could totally buy it. You would like the stats, but it's not something you're going to be buying on this hero all that often. So that's how you can contrast kind of the heroes that like to buy it, that benefit from everything. They're wearing people down over time. They like to sit there and be tanky versus like the burst heroes like Ursa or Faceless Void or heroes like Drow who already have those things, the slows and the anti-regen built into their kit. And lastly, how and when do we actually build Skadi? Well, it's made from 2 Ultimate Orbs and an Orb of Frost, and obviously you're going to be buying the Orb of Frost first because it's 300 gold versus the 2,800 gold of the 2 Ultimate Orbs, which makes this kind of an awkward item to buy. It's pretty expensive already, but then the buildup is saving up 2,800 gold twice, which can be pretty awkward. The only thing that makes it not awkward is you can buy Orb of Frost pretty early, even in the laning stage. So if you are a hero that could potentially buy Skadi, maybe it's a good matchup for it, you can just get the Orb of Frost early to run people down in the lane and then have it in your inventory for most of the game or even in your backpack. And then later, if you decide, hey, I want to get the Skadi, you already have this, or you could even sell the Orb of Frost if you feel like it's not a great Skadi game. And late game is really when you're going to be deciding whether or not to buy Skadi because it's really a 3rd, 4th, 5th luxury late game type of item after you already have your farming, survivability, BKB, damage type of items. It's something that it just amps up everything you're already doing, makes you tankier, do more damage, harder to kite, be anti-regen like I've talked about, and it's something you're not going to be buying relatively early unless maybe you're a Medusa or a Meepo. You could go for it like 2nd, 3rd item, but even in those cases, those heroes aren't buying it first by any means. You're usually not buying it before 20 minutes in almost any game unless you're so giga farmed on one of those heroes that you're getting it super early. But for the most part, for pretty much every hero in the game, in most matchups, you're buying it late game as a counter to specific heroes and just to amp up what you're already doing. And that, everyone, is Eye of Skadi. I hope this helped you better understand the item and when to buy it. As always, if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.